You know what I want for you if you have a one-handed backhand? I want you to be able to hit it like the pros, and I want you to be able to focus on the right things. How does that sound to you? If I could have come back and in my next life to play pro tennis again, I might have chosen to have a beautiful one-handed backhand. So let's get into some powerful tips for you right now. We're going to work on the one-handed backhand. I'm going to give you some great tips to help you with the spin and the flat shot that you're going to hit off of this side. So the first thing that we've got to get into is the grip. Many of you out there, you don't have a grip that's extreme enough to hit a lot of topspin. So you're holding the racket generally in a continental grip. Maybe you've moved the racket over a little bit towards the backhand side. We call this an Eastern backhand grip. I think the grip names in tennis are so odd. So you're going to have the continental grip, or you're going to move it over a little bit towards backhand. But if you have that continental grip and you swing, it's going to be very difficult to hit a lot of spin. That's why I point this out. We've got to get the palm of the hand behind the racket like this to create more spin. Okay, having that grip is going to make it easy to hit spin. If you've got a continental grip, the only way you can really hit spin is by manipulating the arm like this, and that's going to break down your technique. So consider moving the hand so that the palm is behind the racket in what we call a semi-western backhand grip. Now, if you make this grip change, beware, that ball is going to start going down into the net, because you're going to have to really work on getting under the ball and sending that ball towards the fence. It's going to be a big adjustment for you, okay? So step number one is the grip. Okay, so we've handled the grip. Now let's talk about, as part of step one, this starting position. Now, when I'm in a ready position, I usually hold a semi-western grip for my forehand like this, and I have my offhand on the throat of the racket. So what you want to practice doing is, when you see that it's coming to your backhand, you want to use the offhand to change the grip to the backhand side like this. And if you'll notice, the tip of the racket is up like this, and I'm in this ready position, ready to make a first move on the forehand. If I use the offhand to change the grip, look at how the tip of the racket stays up when I make this first move, okay? So that's really important, to be able to have that racket tip up and ready and in position as you change the grip. Now, if you're trying to make a grip change, I'm okay with players starting with a backhand grip just so that they can get comfortable. And then, you may have to change it to a forehand grip to hit a forehand, but if you really want to get the feel of this new grip, you might want to consider starting in a ready position in the backhand grip. Most coaches aren't going to teach you that. I don't usually suggest it when you're playing, but again, this is for players that want to make that grip change. They can practice getting in this position right here with the grip and just starting with this backhand grip from the beginning. Okay, so we've covered the grip and we've gotten into that starting position. How tight to hold the racket on the one-handed backhand. And if any of you have followed my blog for quite some time, you know that I'm all about grip tension. I'm all about learning to relax the hands. But the one-handed backhand is a bit tricky, because when I talk about relaxing the hands, a lot of times, for example, on the forehand side, I'll have people swing and catch the racket and physically take the hand off of the racket just so they can learn the proper amount of tension to have, which is very little tension. You want your hands to be relaxed at the end of the shot. That really helps you understand how to have the right grip tension throughout the backswing and the contact point. But on the backhand side, you can't do that. You can't swing and relax it anywhere, obviously, because you don't have two hands on the racket. So we need to go through that today and help you understand what we're going to do. All right, we've got Damon Gillette out here, who is a teaching pro here in Denver, Colorado, and he also played on the professional tour. So he has a lot of experience, and he has a very, very good one-handed backhand. So I'm excited to show you guys how he hits his one-hander and get his feedback on the type of grip tension that you need to hit with your one-handed topspin backhand. All right, Damon, so I'm just going to toss you a few balls and you can hit it down the line, and just be aware of your tension, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's going on.
Sounds good.
It's a sweet backhand right there. And we're going to talk to Damon a little bit about his relaxation, but you can see, we'll go ahead and hold the finish here. You can see how the hand just kind of relaxes at the end. Obviously, he can't relax it as much as he would on the forehand side because he's not able to catch the racket, but he does let the he does let the hand kind of relax at the end. You kind of see the racket head flip. So that was good stuff right there, Damon.
Thank you.
Obviously, you've got a lot of experience playing tennis at a high level. Now you're coaching every day. What percentage of students would you say grip the racket too tight on their one-handed backhand?
Oh, definitely. It's up there. I'd say somewhere between 80–90% of the time.
Yes.
You know?
So this is a common problem, and it's one that you can fix right away just by becoming aware of tension in your hand. Do you have any ideas or concepts that work for you just when you're aware that maybe you're gripping it too tight, and how you get yourself to relax a little bit?
Definitely. I know, it happens to everyone. So sometimes if I come out and I'm gripping it a little too tight, I'll feel it. I'll feel it more in my wrist. I'll feel it more in my elbow. The shock of holding it tight just kind of goes straight up.
So keep squeezing it tight like that. I don't know if you can zoom in here, but you can really see the forearm is you can really see it just kind of jumping out. Now go ahead and relax the hand a little bit. It just kind of softens a little bit when you're barely holding the racket, and you want to just constantly be playing around with that grip tension. So obviously you don't want to be too loose because you wouldn't be able to hold the racket. So
Right.
How do you kind of help yourself or help players kind of feel what that's like?
Well, you don't want to end up getting too loose, because if you're too loose, you end up getting too wristy with it. Mm-hmm. And so one thing that I try and do is just have them grip it to where the racket's not going to fall out of their hands, but at the same time, they're not completely flexed while holding it.
Awesome. So I'm going to have Damon do it again because his backhand is so beautiful, and we want to give you guys another beautiful look at his backhand, and we'll finish up this video. So here's Damon again with his one-handed backhand. Go ahead and let it fly.
All right.
Damon, just let that backhand fly for me. Boom, look at that. Such great relaxation at the end. I want to talk about the first move. And with the first move, this is a really interesting one. If you watch the pros, they make this first move, and you're going to see this shoulder turn. So you're going to see this shoulder go to this position right here. So you see the shoulder turning, and you start to load this outside leg to prepare. But notice how the tip of the racket goes up. Okay, it's just like on the forehand, the racket tip is up like this. To be able to generate easy racket head speed, to be able to accelerate into the ball and even drop under the ball to get crazy topspin, it helps to have the tip of the racket up to start. So I like to have players get this racket in this position or thereabouts with their first move. Now, again, if you've been playing tennis a long time and you naturally take the racket back like this on a one-hander, a lot of players, I'm not going to change them. I'm going to say, you know what? You're comfortable in this position right here, taking the racket straight back. Yes, you're not going to look like the pros per se, but you can still take it back and hit great backhands. Last time I checked, John McEnroe had a pretty good one-handed backhand, and he took the racket back just like this. So this is not something you have to do, but if you want to look like Roger Federer and you want to look like the other great one-handers, Dominic Thiem, Tsitsipas, if you want to look like them, you've got to get that racket tip up with the first move. Just know that if you naturally take it back like this, you can still hit great backhands. The thing I want you to avoid, and I see this happen with a lot of club players, is they try to take the racket up in the beginning like this because they want to look like the pros, but then what happens is they drop the racket like this and swing. So I call it a disjointed backswing. The racket goes up, then it goes down like this, and then the swing happens. It's like a two-part backswing, and we don't want that. We want the first move into the backswing to really flow and be smooth and effortless. So just keep that in mind. If you're taking the racket up and then you drop it down like this and it's very abrupt and disjointed and it doesn't flow, then you might want to consider going with a backswing where the racket just goes straight back like this, a la John McEnroe. So with the backswing, this is the one swing in tennis where you get to break the plane. There's a lot of talk about the forehand now, and I was guilty of this as a pro. I got to 100 in the world, and I still had a little tail in my backswing on the forehand. So I never really corrected the swing where I keep the racket on the same side of the body. If I started playing more, I would definitely be working on that, even at this later stage in my career and my life. But with the backhand side, on the one-handed backhand, it's okay to break the plane. So when you take this racket back and you have this full shoulder turn and you get into the backswing, when you go to swing, the racket can break the plane like this on the one-handed backhand. That's what we want. I get concerned when I see players have too short of a backswing on the one-handed backhand and they just kind of bunt the ball like this. So what I want you to practice doing is really getting this shoulder turn, and you can see my shoulders turning against my hips like this. And then when it's time to swing and I step in, you can see how the racket's going to break the plane back here. That's something that I definitely want you to do and want you to practice. The contact. With the contact point, I'm a big believer that when you swing on the one-handed backhand, you want to get your arm as straight as possible. Now, you don't want to be completely locked out, although it should feel like it's straight. Honestly, a lot of players that struggle with their backhand, they come at it with more of a bent arm. They're not able to get that arm totally straight, and they're not able to make contact away from their body. Too often players get jammed on their one-handed backhand. I want to see players really create a lot of space away from their body like this. Okay, and as you're making contact, I like to have the off arm very relaxed down by the side like this. There's definitely different schools out there of thought when it comes to what the offhand does at contact or even after contact. You'll see some players really take their offhand back as they hit. I feel with club players that are not pros, they have a hard time really bringing the racket back or bringing the offhand and making good contact with the backhand. So I like just having the offhand at contact just relax by the pocket here. Your contact point, the more that your grip moves in this direction, the more out in front you're going to hit the ball. This is also contingent on your posture. Think about it. If you lean forward, which a lot of players, they don't have this problem on the one-hander. It's more on the two-hander leaning forward. Your contact point is going to be compromised. So if you can keep your body upright, you keep your head and your body back as you swing, you can get the ball way out in front of you. It all has to do with your posture. As soon as you lean in, it's going to be difficult to get it way out there. You're going to be back in this area right here. So make sure your head stays back, your body stays back, and you're creating a lot of space to get that contact point way out in front. The swing path. Now, if you have this grip, and if you swing excessively low to high, and you literally go up like this and you finish above your head, instead of going straight out like this, you finish above your head, that's how you can create topspin. So watch me go up and I finish above my head, but it's only because this grip is extreme. As soon as I go to the continental grip, it's very difficult. Again, it's very difficult. If I go up with a continental, I can still hit some topspin, but the key is to, I'll turn sideways here. The key is to go out and then come back like this. So you're going up the back of the ball and you're coming back. If you're going to hit it flatter, then you're just going to go straight out like this. See how my hand goes out and across? That's your flatter backhand. Okay, so swing path matters. The finish, probably one of my favorite parts of the swing. If you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you know that I love teaching the finish. Most players don't finish well, especially on the one-handed backhand. They go across the body, they finish too low, they get in this area right here. I want that arm straight. I want extension. I even want players to hold their finish like this with the hand way up. If you can just practice this every day on your backhand and get to this position, you're going to improve tremendously. It's when players short arm it and they come across and they finish low that they get in trouble. So finish high, get this arm straight, and if you want to add a little flair to your backhand like the pros, when you get to this position, then you can turn the hand over like this, and you can practice turning that hand over like this and be a little more creative, a little more artistic, and get more spin on the backhand. The problem I see with club players is they see the pros do this, and then what happens, excuse me, what happens is they end up flipping over too early like this. No, you want to extend, you want classic extension like this, and then you can turn the hand over. So make sure you extend, and then you can turn the hand over to hit it like the pros. Okay, so that's my 5-step formula to help you hit great one-handed backhands. I'll hit a couple right now just to demonstrate, just so that you can see what I'm focusing on and what I'm doing with my one-hander. Okay, so I've got my grip, and I like to have that hand behind the racket like this. And when I just toss the ball here, I'm going to make sure the tip of the racket gets up. I'm going to make sure that at contact my arm is straight, and then I finish with a straight arm. It's as simple as that. And again, the key is the extension. Look how straight. I don't see club players finishing like this. So if you did one thing from this video, it would be making sure that every time you swing, you get your arm straight. Straight and extended. Every single time. You can keep working on that over and over again. That one-handed backhand is going to get a lot better. So one way to hit topspin is to do what I call the French flair. So this is what the French have made famous. They're so artistic. They're so beautiful with their one-handed backhand. When they finish, they flip the racket over like this. You've seen a lot of the pros do it. Now I've heard from you, and I've seen videos in the past of club players who try to do that, but they do that before extending. So it's very important that you extend out and up first, and then you turn the hand over like this. You don't want to do it in here. That's where the racket's going to get flippy. Okay, so consider extending out and turning the hand over like that to get more spin on your one-handed backhand. So to review, you want to make sure that you take the palm of the hand and you get it behind the racket. It's a more extreme backhand grip. You also want your swing path to go low to high and come back towards your body like this. Go back towards your body like this, all right? Not straight out. And 3, consider doing the French flair only after you've extended first. If you don't extend, that's not going to work. Now, the waggle finish involves swinging the racket, and at the end of the swing, you have so much racket head acceleration that the racket actually comes back in almost a J type of a shape. So you come back towards the dominant side of your body. Instead of just swinging and holding, which is a finish and a swing that I propose that I want you to practice, you're going to add this little waggle at the end where the hand and the arm start to come back towards the dominant side of your body. Now, why on earth would you possibly want to learn something like this? It sounds crazy to even think about doing this. And again, many players already do this naturally. They probably don't even think about it. But some of you out there struggling with your one-hander, getting the right amount of spin, and dealing with different types of shots, you're gonna really benefit from learning this. Now, as I said, why would you want to learn this finish? Number 1, if you want to go down the line and you swing and you come back to this side of your body, you're keeping the racket facing your target line or going towards your target line longer. If you swing and go across your body, the propensity is for the ball to go more cross court. So if you want to improve your down the line backhand, I want you to consider using the waggle so that the strings face your target line at the end of the finish. This little waggle at the end also helps you with racket head acceleration. You can let your arm and your hand go more. You'll notice right there, I just let it go and it naturally comes back to this side of the body. Very similar to the buggy whip. When you see Nadal swing, he swings and the racket and the hand come all the way to the dominant side at the end of his swing. It's one of the reasons is because he has so much racket head acceleration, he doesn't want to stop here. He wants to keep going and let the arm go. The same concept holds true with the one-hander. You let your arm and you let the racket go. Another thing I want you to consider with the waggle is when the ball is low. When you swing, you might swing and want to bring the racket back like this instead of swinging and going across your body. So you're going to focus on going here with your swing instead of across your body. So let me hit a couple and show you how it's going to look. So you can see I just brought the hand towards the dominant side at the end. Make sure you go across first. Don't swing and stay on the same side. I really want you to swing across and then come back. I'll make it a little smoother this time. So you see how I swung and I brought the racket back. This is a very advanced tip, and I don't think that lower level players should try it. But if you want to advance to higher and higher levels and develop that down the line and get more spin and more racket head acceleration, consider using the waggle finish, and especially if you have a pretty extreme grip on your one-handed backhand. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that compilation of one-handed backhand tips to help you get to the next level. You know, these tips can help you actually swing that racket and hit that ball like the pros. And of course, that's what I want for you. That's my mission. That's my drive. That's what I want for tennis players all over the world, is to actually learn how to play like the pros. And I'm absolutely passionate about helping you with it. Now, before you go today, go ahead and click the link in the description below or somewhere in this video, because I have a free gift for you. I want to give you a free membership to Tennis Evolution. No credit cards, no strings attached. All you have to do is click the link in the description below or somewhere in this video to pick up a free membership. We've got 21 lessons on the inside valued at $576. It's absolutely free, and it's inside our Tennis Evolution app. So go ahead and check it out right now. It will be your next step on your journey to get to the next level. All right, we'll see you at the next lesson.